We are a group of people that, for the most part, grew up in Pasadena, if not live here, and noticed and felt the fear, felt the terror, felt the hostility that ICE was causing here. And so we decided to get up, get on our feet, and go against them. Save our people, porque solo el pueblo salva al pueblo.
Because only the people save the people. That is Elizabeth Castillo, and she and her neighbors have been organizing to protect their community outside of Los Angeles from Trump's mass deportation plans. The New York Times' Michelle Goldberg writes this about Elizabeth, quote, Elizabeth Castillo wasn't an activist until Immigration and Customs Enforcement started taking away her neighbors. It all began in June after Donald Trump directed Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents to sweep L.A., then used scattered violence at protests and of ICE tactics as a pretext to send in the military. Castillo felt her working-class neighborhood in Pasadena was under siege. It was just chaos, she said. And you can see, you can hear, you can feel the fear, the intimidation. You could feel the terror. This summer, when ICE started grabbing people from her community off the streets, she felt she had to act. She started getting up before dawn to patrol her apartment complex. Then she contacted the National Day Labor Organizing Network, which runs a nearby job center. Through it, she was plugged into a citywide network of people who are constantly tracking ICE's activities. Quote, everyone is protecting each other right now, and we can see it, we can feel it, said Castillo. I don't know. We feel like we're the sheriffs in town. Joining me now, Grupo Auto Defensa organizer Elizabeth Castillo herself, and Reverend Al Sharpton is back with us. Elizabeth, tell us about your decision to get involved. Political activism was certainly not in your normal history.
No, it wasn't. So what sparked me to get involved was, like I said, the fear, the hostility, and the terror that you could feel, you could sense it. It was different. Our streets were different. Our neighborhoods were different. It was in the air. It just didn't feel right. It didn't feel normal. And so I kept seeing the news, not even the news, that you just hear words, somebody got kidnapped around the corner. You can hear the people screaming. And so I became angry, and I just got up and started moving.
You've experienced firsthand how deportations tear families apart. Your husband was deported back in 2012. What was that like for you?
It's a long-lasting trauma, especially for my children, having to travel between two countries, not being able to understand why was the hardest part. Having two different homes, because we had our home here in California, in Pasadena. And so them not understanding, we try to make it as peaceful as possible for them, but they still remember the long hours that we would spend crossing the border, the changes as soon as you cross the border, how different it is, and the separation from their father. It was difficult.
Elizabeth, we've seen ICE agents threaten bystanders who are filming them or who try to intervene. Are you afraid at all that your involvement could put you at risk?
Honestly, no. I'm not afraid, and I think that's one of the reasons that I became involved. I don't feel fear. I feel anger. I feel as if I need to do something. A lot of us are doing something, and our voices are loud. Our voices are extremely loud. Our presence is known, and our presence will continue to be known. I don't feel fear.
What do people who are trying to keep their families safe during this mass deportation period, what do they need to know?
That they belong in our community. We need to protect our community. There's a space for them in our community, and we will protect them, and we will continue to take care of each other.
American support for the president's immigration policies have plummeted once they've seen the human cost of mass deportation. Are you noticing a difference on the ground? Because when President Trump was running for re-election, immigration was a top issue for him, and he got a lot of support.
here we have a lot of positive support. We have a lot of positive support from the community. We try not to listen to any negativity, and to be honest with you, everything feels very organic. Everything feels very organic. Sometimes, as much as political as this may be, I feel that sometimes the community is so absorbed with stress and worry that they're just, a lot of us are just too busy protecting each other and keeping each other safe.
Everything feels organic, Rev. You know activism best. Is that how activism works? Is that activism at its finest?
That's probably the most effective activism, because if you take someone like Elizabeth, who doesn't have a political agenda, who doesn't even have a lot of known views before this involvement, it's hard to say she's doing this for this reason, or those that are with her. And most movements that have moved this country forward have been organic movements where you may have some that have been involved like me out front, but it's the organic rising of people that really change things. And I think Elizabeth symbolizes that. And I think the purity of it, saying that I'm seeing something wrong, I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat, I'm not for or against Trump, I see something wrong, that purity, I think, is what's going to turn this issue around.
All right, Elizabeth, Al, please stick around. We're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. There'll be more Deadline White House on the other side of the break.
What did the bystanders do?
They were, I'm a New Yorker bone and bone, and we're tough people here, but I saw cowards. And I hate to say that as somebody who loves the city.
What did you want to see, and what disappointed you?
Obeying to authoritarianism, to authority that was out of line, pissing on the Constitution, and they came up like, I don't care. I don't care.
That was Nicole's interview with New York City baseball coach Euman Wilder, who stepped in when ICE agents began to question members of his youth baseball team. We're back with immigration activist Elizabeth Castillo and Reverend Al Sharpton. Al, you have seen a lot in your life. That baseball coach right there, what he's experiencing, what his team is experiencing, what Elizabeth is working on in LA. Did you think you would see this in your lifetime?
No, I didn't. And I am absolutely outraged that more of us are not involved, because I think the coach put it right. This is urinating on the Constitution. If we let ICE agents or any other department of law enforcement just openly decide they're going to violate everyone's rights, then when does it come to your door or my door? This is outrageous. This is not a immigration issue. It's a human rights issue as far as I'm concerned. You don't have the right to violate people like that and say that you're guilty of being here illegally until you prove yourself innocent. And that's what they're doing. They're making anyone of a certain language or a certain color or coming from a certain place in the world prove their innocence, and we will take you from your families, we'll incarcerate you, we'll rob you of any kind of life you have until you prove your innocence. And that is not what this country should stand for.
Elizabeth, what do you say to people who want to make a difference and stand up for what they believe in, but they're afraid right now, justifiably afraid?
We can all make a difference. We can all make a difference. All we have to do is show up. All we have to do is show up. They will feel our presence, and we're proving it. I'm just an old kid. I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm just an old kid who grew up in these streets, a vulnerable community for what's going on right now. And the amount of change that has happened since we've been involved we're all members of this community. We're all community members that grew up here. We're born and raised in these streets. This is our home. And we need to stand up and defend it. As shy as we can be, as afraid as some of us may be, the smallest presence will make a huge difference.
Rev, the president's not going to stop. Even when his poll numbers go down as it relates to immigration, look at the big, beautiful bill. Look at the amount of money they've just dedicated to ICE. Despite its unpopularity, the president, Stephen Miller, they're going full steam ahead. Is there anything that is going to derail or slow down this mission from this administration?
I don't know that this administration will be slowed down, but I think that if we keep going, that the Congress and others will have to get in step. We have the midterm elections next year. You know, the most successful historic movements are those that have strong, immovable enemies. It took 9 years from Rosa Parks sitting in the front of the bus in Montgomery, Alabama, to get the '64 Voting Rights Act. She sat down in '55. It didn't become federal law until 1964. So in order for movements to succeed, you need the Elizabeths that's not counting votes, not counting ballots, but doing what is right. And if those that are doing what is right are stronger than those that are depending on their power, it may take longer, but you're going to win. Right always overpowers wrong.
The light always outshines the dark. Elizabeth, what's next for your organization?
This is just the beginning. We're just getting started. This is just the beginning. We're just getting started. They lit up a fire that they are not going to put out in us. Slowly but surely, more people are getting involved. We just had a huge block party where it was close to 1,000 people showed up in our city. And we experienced a sense of joy, unity, that, again, it's a feeling that you feel that we can, you have to be here. You have to be present to feel the difference of what can happen when we come together.
Amen to that. Elizabeth, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you sharing your story. Reverend Al, always good to see you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this.